Today I am in Mineral Point #1, one of the first 3 lodges in the state of Wisconsin. This historic lodge goes way back to the 1800s, and it has a whole lot of quirky features in it. Here's an example. You've got the projector over here, this hole right up here, you would have a person running a projector. Interestingly enough, this projector, which I'll show you in a minute, used to be a kerosene powered projector, and they could project slideshows in the room. And let's go back here, a little ladder here, and as you can see right next to the lodge room, yeah, I don't think that that's rated for my weight, but you can see you climb up there, and then the person running the projector, and there's the projector right there. That's an old kerosene powered projector, and they later converted that to electric. And over there in the middle, if you can see, is actually the power for it. That's some pretty amazing old stuff, isn't it? Every once in a while, there will be something in a lodge that you wonder, oh, what's that all about? That's for a slide projector that we use for some of our presentations, at least in this lodge, Mineral Point #1 in Wisconsin.
I'd have someone go up and take a look at it, but none of us have the masonic bodies to climb that rickety ladder. You might be the closest, Carl. It's definitely scary. So, the projector that was up there actually used to be kerosene projector. And they electrified it when they brought electricity into it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's...
Oh, I only have one opportunity. I gotta go.
I make no promises, but we did pay our insurance.
That's important.
Also, you're probably the first person in 20 years to be that high like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a museum piece.
At least we'll have a glass of wine.
That's cool.
Even the wiring is a museum piece.
The wiring spears are
Pretty cool.
Well, it's fiber.
Just nobody step on the same stair at the same time. Don't mind the crack inside, it's totally fine.
Yeah. Nothing bad has ever happened. Except that one. Yes. So, this is where the ladies used to come during the meetings, and they would have their little time up here while the men were meeting downstairs. That's why it's so much better decorated than any other place in the lodge.
Oh, wow. If you're looking for a full toilet.
Yeah, there's toilet #1. I promise you there'd be weird toilets.
Right in the middle.
Yep. Well, it's not.
It's not, it's just sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It has been sitting there for quite a while. Yep.
Spittoons?
Yep.
In case you need one, you know.
Not your normal lodge furniture anymore.
They actually had lockers.
Yeah, we had a.
I've seen several of the older lodges.
We had a commander here.
Okay.
So. At the end of that hall, if you want to go talk to the kitchen in person, we'll climb up the rickety ladder. Like I said, yeah, this is the most recent wiring in the building.
That was basically for the lighting there.
Yeah.
And this was, you can see the old roof.
Yeah.
The original building is still here.
Yep.
It's a metal roof.
It's above the lodge room right there.
Yeah. Just be careful coming up here.
Now, where does that big first step go to? Oh, not that.
No. You'll know you did it, but.
These are obviously parts of the lodge that are not currently used. I've never seen a toilet table. There it is. Lockers. interesting where brothers used to have their own lockers as they came into lodge. This is the original Mineral Point #1. This would have been where they would have dinners and events. Can you imagine the parties that existed? Those days are gone now, but what we see here is just kind of a little hint of what was. Sometimes in these old buildings you can see little historical nuggets. Here's the original constitution of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin. Woohoo! Revised in 1807. Now, revised and adopted by the Grand Lodge, the annual communication held June 8th, 9th, and 10th in 1897. Wow. That's some pretty old stuff right there. It's always neat to see the differences with some of these old buildings, and sometimes in this case I got a old school tour of the history of this building today. But you know, there's all sorts of strange little back rooms and things that you wouldn't expect. Here's a apron and collar from, looks like, General William Smith. Oh, this is kind of cool. Old lodge embosser. Looks like a commandery sword. And a framed, is that an embroidery print? Wow, that's embroidered. Depart upon the square. That's some cool stuff. Now, a lot of these old lodge buildings were built to hold lodges that could have 500 members. It was a different time in Freemasonry, and things have changed, of course. People aren't joining civic organizations. Back then, 40% of all men were a member of a civic organization, whether it was the Masons. Some of them were members of the Odd Fellows, Lions Club, Eagles Club, that sort of thing. So when I have an opportunity to visit some of these old buildings, and I will say that, you know, it's neat to see these old buildings, but they're really they're really overkill for our needs today. You know, oftentimes a lodge will have 50, 60, maybe 100 members. Some lodges are even smaller. So there's kind of not as much need for some of these massive lodge buildings with their tall ceilings and ridiculously high heating bills. So things have changed. So a lot of times lodges are meeting in smaller buildings, or they're selling their existing building. In this building right here, despite the fact that it's a very historic lodge, Mineral Point #1, one of the first 3 lodges in the state of Wisconsin. This building will be sold probably within the year. The lodge that my great-grandfather was in was actually Kilbourne #3, which was chartered as part of the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin the same time that this lodge was. So those 3, Mineral Point, Mineral Point, Melody, and Kilbourne, which was Milwaukee Lodge #3 back then, were all chartered at the same time.